Hello team players, I got a new type of video for you today. Alchemist is pretty much known as one of the best classes in Pathfinder 2e because of their huge versatility. I mean, you can pretty much pick any type of alchemical item to use if you're playing an alchemist. Bombs, poisons, you name it. But that versatility also makes them one of the toughest classes to play in this game. So today I thought I'd go over the ancestries that I think are the best for playing an alchemist. At number 5, we have a pretty classic one with the goblin. Goblins have a pretty decent amount going for them when it comes to playing an alchemist. For starters, they have the burn it feat, allowing them to do more damage with fire. This works pretty well with alchemist fire, making goblins excellent bomber alchemists. Goblins are also pretty good at stealth, with the very sneaky and very sneaky feats. Alchemists aren't very tanky, so stealth is kind of important. Granted, bomber alchemists don't need as much as other alchemists, but it's still a big deal. Goblins can get a boost to dexterity and a free boost which you can put in intelligence, so that's a big deal as well. Plus, goblins have access to the unbreakable goblin heritage, allowing them to be just a little more tanky. But the reason that goblins are number 5 on this list is because if you're playing a goblin alchemist, you are most certainly playing a bomber. They really don't have anything for any other type of alchemist. They don't have any poison feats or healing feats. So, toxicologist and Trojan are out. They also don't have anything that helps out with mutagenous alchemists either. Bomber is the only type of alchemist that goblins really cater to. Goblins aren't the only player core 1 ancestry on this list, but we'll get to that a bit later. Coming in at number 4, we've got Tripkey. Tripkey are actually pretty great when it comes to toxicologist alchemists. The first thing that the Tripkey has going for it when it comes to alchemists is the Poison Hide Tripkey heritage. As I said before, alchemists aren't that tanky, so getting grappled is bad. Very bad. But with the Poison Hide Tripkey heritage, if a creature does grapple you, they're going to take poison damage. And poisoning them when they try to grapple you is a big deal. But that's not the only thing the Tripkey have going for them. The next thing the Tripkey have going for them is the Tripkey weapon familiarity feat. The blowgun is a very good weapon when it comes to poisoning targets, especially with the blowgun poisoner feat. Alchemists already have access to that weapon, but weapon familiarity gives you the critical specialization effect of that weapon earlier than alchemists normally get it. That means if you get a critical hit with your blowgun, you're doing bleed damage and poison damage. And you're doing poison damage even if your blowgun doesn't do any damage at all with blowgun poisoner. Also, Tripkey have a decent amount of poison feats. So, even if you don't have poisons, you can still poison enemies. An example is Envenomed Edge, which gives you persistent poison damage. And Tripkey can be good at stealth, just like goblins. But stealth is actually a lot more important for poisons than it is for bombs. Because if you're hidden, then your poison can be working while they're looking for you. Big deal. But the reason that Tripkey are higher on this list than Goblin is because Tripkey can also play a bomber if they take Tenacious Net to make foes off guard. So they can play 2 different types of alchemists, whereas Goblin can really only play 1. Plus, Tripkey have a lot more mobility feats, which is a big deal, too. Next at number 3, we've got one that most people probably don't even think about, and that is the Viscania. What makes Viscania so great is that they can pretty much play any type of alchemist and still be really good at poisons, because they have a ton of feats that allow you to just poison enemies and debilitate them just from your ancestry. They obviously make great toxicologists, because you just have poisons on hand all the time. But they give any alchemist great versatility simply for existing. Plus, Viscania can heal with their poison. So even if you're not playing a Trojan, you can still heal allies. But what's coming in at the number 2 slots? At number 2, we have Orc. Believe it or not, Orcs have a ton of things going for them when it comes to alchemists. They actually make very good mutagenist alchemists. With iron fists, they can do lethal damage with their fists, even if they don't take a mutagen for their attacks. And they have orc ferocity, allowing them to stay up for longer. So they solve the tankiness problem. Not only that, but they have access to the Riding Drake Animal Companion for flanking bonus, as well as intimidation bonuses if they're not a toxicologist alchemist. Or even if they are, because poisons aren't always going to work. Plus, they're good at intimidation themselves. So, if your poisons don't work, you can always demoralize enemies. Plus, just like Tripkey, they can do persistent bleed damage in addition to poison damage. They're even good with throwing bombs because they get a boost to strength. But there's one ancestry that's better than them when it comes to alchemists, and that is the Hobgoblin. Hobgoblins may not have that great of heritages, but they have access to the insane alchemical scholar feat. This gives them even more alchemical items than they would normally get, which is great for any class, but is insane for alchemists. You are basically doubling the amount of alchemical items you can have with this feat, which is nuts, giving any alchemist much more versatility. But that's not the only thing that makes Hobgoblins really good for alchemists. They also have great healing feats, like Cantorian Rejuvenation and Cantorian Restoration. Thus, they can be great Trojan alchemists as well. They're not as good at stealth as goblins are, but they are pretty good at it with the sneaky feat. Also, with feats like Leech Clip, they can be good at getting the off-guard condition, which does stack with things like poisons. They make great toxicologist alchemists as well as pretty good mutagenists. They're also really good with intimidation, with feats like Agonizing Rebuke. But what really sets the Hobgoblin apart when it comes to alchemists is all the teamwork feats they get. Things like Pride in Arms and Can't Fall Here, which is another reason why they're great Trojan alchemists. And with a boost to intelligence, if you're playing a Hobgoblin, you're going to be able to play any alchemist you want. Plain and simple. And that's all the best ancestries for the alchemist. If this video does well enough, I'm definitely going to continue this series with the barbarian next. So if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think either here or on my Discord server. Link is in the description. And if you're interested in my teamwork builds, you can check out the link in the description for my Patreon page. I do path builders of my teamwork builds, and they're available over there. And of course, subscribe if you want more teamwork content. If you made this far in the video, you probably like my content, so here's another video you can check out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.